competitive landscape chapter analyzes the external environment in which the industry is operating. It discusses the level of dominance by the major players, the breakdown of cost structures, barriers that operators face to enter the industry, and what differentiates one operator from the other. Market share concentration. This section provides the dominance level of the top players within an industry. The concentration is either high, medium, or low, and the accompanying analysis explains the reason behind it and the changes over time. The market concentration level is calculated using the market shares of the top 4 industry players. The concentration level is either low, medium, or high and provides great insight on the industry traits and opportunities. When an industry has low concentration, the top 4 players have less than 40% of the industry's market share. When an industry has medium concentration, the top 4 industry players own between 40 and 70% of the market collectively. When an industry has high concentration, the top 4 players have more than 70% market share. The analysis in the market share concentration section discusses the reasons behind the level of concentration and any changes that have occurred over the past 5 years. This section can also be linked to industry life cycle. For example, if it's a mature industry, then it's likely that the market concentration is increasing with merger and acquisition activity. The level and trends within this section offer insight on the competitive environment for you and your clients. When concentration is high, the risk of antitrust legislation can increase work opportunities for lawyers, accountants, and consultants. Additionally, bank loan officers and potential investors can use this to better understand if a company can compete against larger producers. If concentration is medium, then there's profit to be made in the right investment, as companies likely to have a sound product, market, and brand name. However, with a robust management strategy and a sound business plan, a service-based business with a low concentration industry can become strong and profitable very quickly. A great point to get in the market and grow. Key success factors. This section provides the internal factors that the company can control to ensure success in the industry. The key success factors are presented in a list with an explanation of strategies on how to maintain or grow revenue profit. Analysts choose 4 to 6 key factors for each industry. For example, establishment of export markets, economies of scope, economies of scale, proximity to key markets, ability to adopt new technology. The key success factors are used in our iExpert reports to help generate ready-made questions for users. In particular, the key success factors can be used by loan officers to ask the right questions to determine the strength of an applicant's business plan. Additionally, salespeople can use this section to form questions that foster empathy with the client by showing that they understand the client's industry. Cost structure benchmarks. This section quantifies and discusses industry operator cost and includes a chart breakdown by cost type and related analysis. What goes into the cost structure benchmarks? Our analysts assign a percentage for each factor: profit, wages, purchases, depreciation, marketing, rent, utilities, and other costs. From there, they provide analysis of current trends, the reasons for change, and implications. The cost breakdown chart shows the average breakdown of costs for companies in the sector, the breakdown of cost for industry operators, and each cost is shown as a percentage of revenue. Let's take a deeper look at the factors that make up the cost benchmarks. Profit. This is earnings before tax, EBIT, excluding taxes and interest. Wages. This includes the salaries and wages of all full-time, part-time, temporary, and contract employees. Purchases. Items used directly as part of the final product or service sold to customers, such as inputs, raw materials, etc. Depreciation. The decrease in value of assets, where the cost of the assets are allocated to periods in which the assets are used. Marketing. These are the expenses paid for external parties to promote or sell products or services. Rent and utilities. This includes payments for the use of land, buildings, or office space. Other. This includes other costs incurred in the industry that were not itemized elsewhere. You can use the data to benchmark a company's performance, cost, and spend allocation against the industry and sector as a whole. Business valuation and auditors can use this section to look at profit and judge the success of a business, and investors can use cost structure benchmarks to judge likely future profit margins. Furthermore, procurement professionals can use the information to bench supplier cost against an itemized quote to ensure that they're getting a fair price, like whether or not the supplier's costs are too high. Basis of competition. This section outlines the level and trend of competition for industry operators and provides a discussion of factors that give companies a competitive advantage. For example, in the coffee production industry, competition is high and increasing due to price, brand awareness, and consumers' perceived quality of products. Considering the limited opportunities for growth within the industry, it is important for manufacturers to develop strong relationships with downstream suppliers and to distinguish themselves through innovation and product differentiation in order to maintain market share. In this section, there are two types of competition: internal, between participants in industry such as price or innovation, and external, between different industries, like product substitution. The different level and trend of competition can reflect new technologies and products, consolidation of industry players, marketing expenditures, and any other conditions affecting competition. Additionally, there are 3 levels used to identify the degree of competition: low, medium, high, and 3 types of competition trends: increasing, steady, decreasing. The basis of competition section shows how companies can gain market share and is essential for strategy and marketing departments, consultants, and loan officers as they learn how a company is positioned. For example, in the wineries industry, internal competition is based on the price and value for money, bulk wines versus premium wines. However, external competition is increasing from the growing number of premium beer brands, which is a substitute industry. Barriers to entry. This section reflects the level of difficulty for a new operator to enter the industry and outlines the factors necessary to understand and overcome. Additionally, this section includes a barriers to entry checklist table. The levels listed are pulled from chapters throughout the report for this summary table. Additionally, there are 3 levels used to identify the level of difficulty: low, medium, high, and 3 types of trends: increasing, steady, decreasing. Analysis on recent changes and trends and factors affecting industry entry. Mention of niche markets to target and opportunities for small-scale operators. Some common barriers include entry cost, skill shortages, high level of competition, legislation and regulation, and scarce inputs. High investment requirements usually means high barriers, so companies require upfront capital to be able to compete. For example, in the scientific research and development industry, barriers to entry are high and steady, so large costs are needed to set up a research facility due to the high-tech equipment. Also, competition is intense with large players dominating or research being done in-house. Industry globalization. Industry globalization is the extent to which the industry operates on a global scale, like foreign firms operating in the industry and the extent of trade. This section indicates whether the level of globalization is changing. How does it work? There are 3 factors that determine the level and trend of globalization: the level and trend of imports, the level and trend of exports, and the level of foreign company ownership. For example, if an industry's foreign ownership is greater than 50%, imports are more than 35% of domestic demand, and exports account for more than 20% of revenue, then globalization is considered high. By using this section, you can assess risk of exports and imports affecting domestic operations. The level of exports can help you gain an understanding of regulations, consumer taste, marketing strategies, and exchange rate fluctuations. Decreasing exports represent shrinking markets and are therefore considered a higher overall risk. On the other hand, the import level can provide insights such as imports increase competition in the domestic market, high and decreasing imports are less risky for an industry as it increases domestic market share, exchange rate shifts can give an advantage to the importer. Like international trade, this section is good for procurement managers looking for sourcing opportunities. For example, the level of globalization in the distilleries industry is high, and several major companies in the industry are based abroad, indicating that it may be more cost-effective to source suppliers from overseas rather than locally. Along with the United States, IBISWorld offers research on United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, China, and global industries. To get started today, visit www.ibisworld.com. Thank you.